Once again, welcome back to the online teaching in social science, Economics, Chapter 2, continuation of sector of the Indian economy. Children, you can revise the chapter. Can anyone say what was the last two topics we have discussed in the last class? Anyone? Okay, good. We have discussed about unemployment. Can anyone say what is unemployment? Not only in 10th class, 9th class also we have studied what is unemployment. It is a situation in which people who are willing to work at the going wages unable to find a job. Okay. Again, we have seen what is underemployment. What is meaning underemployment? It is a situation in which people are apparently working. That means what? People are visibly working. But all of them are made to work less than their potential. Lastly, we have seen what is disguised unemployment. It is also known as disguised unemployment. For example, a worker requires the service of 5 people, but 8 people are employers. So we cannot say that actually the worker requires only 5 people, but 8 people are employed. That means all the 8 people are employers. So this situation is known as underemployment. Okay. Again, we have seen that how can we create employment in India? Okay. What are the ways we can decrease unemployment in India, etc. We have discussed. Again, we have seen that what are the just 1 or 2 points can you say? Okay, good. By providing a bank loan, the farmers can dig a well or a canal, and their land, agricultural land or field can be irrigated, and more people could be employed, isn't it? That was one point. Again, we have seen that if the government invests more money in transportation or storage of crops, it would provide employment to a large number of people. Again, we have seen that if the local bank or Grameen banks provide a loan at low rates of interest, the farmers would be able to buy seeds, fertilizers, etc. in time. Again, if the government locate industries or set up industries in village areas, a large number of people would get employment. Again, we have seen that if all the children are allowed to go to the schools and colleges, a lot of vacancies are there. Government posts are waiting, so people will get to the job. Again, we have seen MGNRGA. What is meant by MGNR? Can anyone say the full form of MGNRGA? We say Mahatma Gandhi Narega, isn't it? What is that? Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Act. In which year it was implemented? It was implemented in the year 2005. According to which, work was 100 days employment was assured to all the people. Isn't it? This act was known as MGNRGA. Okay. These are the things we have discussed in the previous class. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about organized sector and unorganized sector. What is the difference between organized sector and unorganized sector? Okay, what is the organized sector? Organized sector, it covers those enterprises or places of work where the employment is regular and people have assured work. Understood? These are the places of work where the people have regular employment. That means every day, not every day, weekly 5 days or 6 days, so monthly 20 days, like that, isn't it? So their employment is regular, then people have assured work, isn't it? That means throughout the year they will get to the job. Again, another important point is that this organized sector is registered by the government and they have to follow certain rules and regulations. We know that almost all the government jobs come under organized sector. That the people, those who work under organized sector, they have to follow certain rules and regulations. They have to come at this time and they have to work for how many hours, 8 hours or 10 hours, etc. etc. This fixed time is there. Okay. Why it is known as organized sector? It is called organized sector because it has a lot of process and procedures. That means the people those who work in organized sector, they have to follow certain process and procedures. Again, we have seen that. Another important point regarding organized sector is there is security of employment. That means till their retirement, they would work. Isn't it? So nobody would dismiss them or nobody would and nobody would dismiss them or suspend them unless there is proper reason. Okay, that is there is security of employment and they have to work only fixed hours. For example, in a government office, they have to work minimum 8 hours to 10 hours. After 10 hours or after 8 hours, they can go back to their homes. So that is, again we know that if they work more, they have to be paid overtime. That is another benefit of organized sector. If the workers are spending more time than the required time, for example, if an employee is supposed to work for 8 hours, but the work is not completed, then in such a situations they can work more hours. So they will be paid overtime for that, or more salary would be paid for their overtime work. Again, another benefit is that they are paid leave. They can take the leaves, paid leaves. Salary will not be cut. Again, payment would be given during holidays. We know that, especially the schools and so on. 1 month or 2 months holidays are there. Vacation is there. During those time also, the salary would be paid to the employees. Okay. Again, the facilities of provident fund, you might have heard about PF, then a gratuity, etc. would be provided to the workers. Again, there are a lot of facilities are provided, that is drinking water will be provided, safe working environment will be there, okay, there will be pension after retirement, etc. etc. These are the important points regarding organized sector. Okay, organized sector mainly come under government sector, the people also working under government services. Okay. Understood what is in the organized sector? It is a place of work where the employment is regular and people have assured work. Okay. Again, another thing you have seen that this organized sector is registered by the government and the people have to follow, or people those are working in organized sector should follow its rules and regulations. Again, why it is not organized sector? Because it has a lot of process and procedures. Again, another thing we have discussed is that there is security of employment. That means till their retirement, people can work. Their employment is assured. Okay. Again, you know that they have to work only a fixed number of hours. For example, 8 hours, 10 hours, etc. So according to different organizations, they will fix a time. So they have to work only that much time. If they have worked more hours, they will be paid overtime. That is another plus point of organized sector. Again, we know a lot of benefits are there. Which are the benefits? They are paid leave, then payments during holidays. Again, we know that there will be a lot of facilities like PF would be given after the retirement, or whenever they need the money, they can get the loan from the PF, etc. Gratuity, etc. are paid. Okay. Now, we discuss about unorganized sector. Okay. Unorganized sector, by the word itself, we can understand that it is not organized. Isn't it? Mainly the private sectors. Okay. It is characterized by small and scattered units, which are largely outside the control of government. Okay. What's the unorganized sector? Small and scattered units. What is scattered here and there? Isn't it? Small and scattered units which are largely outside the control of government. Actually, the government cannot control the working of the this unorganized sector. There are, just like organized sector, there are rules and regulations, but many are not following the rules. Government gives a lot of rules and regulations, but they are not followed. Again, that just opposite to organized sector, they are low paid. In the government sector, we know that the employees are paid very good salary, 50,000, 60,000, 1 lakh like that. But in private sector, we know that they are paid very low salary, like 5,000, 10,000 like that. Isn't it? And irregular. Irregular means sometimes, but twice in a week or thrice in a week, they get the job, and remaining days they are unemployed. That is why they are known as in unorganized sector, the work is irregular and low paid. There is no provision for overtime. Even if they work more hours, their overtime will not be paid to them. There will be no paid leaves, there will be no holidays, etc. etc. Again, we know that employment is not at all secure. Whenever the employer did not want the service of the worker, they would be suspended. Okay, tomorrow onwards you no need to come. Like that they would say. So there is no security of employment. Then people can be asked to leave the work without any proper reason. That is also another thing. Okay, now we understood. So unorganized sector is just opposite to organized sector. Okay, once again, what is unorganized sector? It is characterized by small and scattered units which are largely outside the control of government. That means government cannot control the functioning of unorganized sector. Okay. Again, we know that they are just like organized sector, unorganized sector also have plenty of rules and regulations, but nobody follow these rules and regulations because it is mostly controlled by or under the control of private people. Again, the jobs are low paid and irregular. The salary would be very less in unorganized sector while comparing with the organized sector. Again, irregular. That means they would not get the employment throughout the year or throughout the months. Sometimes they would be called for work. Okay, there is no facilities are given. There will be no leaves. There will be no holidays, etc. etc. Okay. Now we'll discuss how are workers in the unorganized sector protected. How can we protect the workers in the unorganized sector? Okay, we have already discussed what are the important points regarding unorganized sector. A large number of workers are forced to work in unorganized sector. Why? What is the reason? Because number of vacancies are less in organized sectors and very limited people are employed in the organized sector. So that is why a large number of people, nearly 60-70% people are forced to work in unorganized sector, which pay very low salary. That we already discussed. In unorganized sector, the workers get very low salary and they are very often exploited, isn't it? So they cannot speak against the employer. If they speak anything against the employer, they would be out. They would be suspended or they would be dismissed, isn't it? Their jobs are irregular and insecure. Insecure. Irregular. That is also once in a week or twice in a week they get the employment. Again, so these people should be protected and they must be supported by the government because a large number of people work in unorganized sector. So these people must be protected by the government. So we know that there is a lot of vulnerable people like landless laborer. Many people are there in our villages. They do not have any land at all. They are landless. Landless laborers, small and marginal farmers. Small and marginal farmers means what? The farmers are having very less land. It's known as marginal farmers, sharecroppers. What are the sharecroppers? Especially in the villages, we know that many people come together. They share the crop and they work together. These are sharecroppers. Excel must be supported through. They must be provided with a lot of facilities like delivery of seeds. That means the seeds must be given to them. And credit loans must be provided. There should be storage facilities for their crops, etc., etc. So these people must be helped by the government. Again, that in the urban areas, urban area means in the towns and cities, workers in small scale industries, many small scale industries are there, isn't it? Like a candle making, agarbatti making, beedi making, etc., etc. Small industries are there in our villages. So they must be protected. Again, street vendors. What are the street vendors? The people those who are selling the things, vegetables, etc. in the market. They are known as street vendors, rag pickers. Okay, head load workers. What is the head load workers? The people those who are doing the loading and unloading, etc. These kind of people need government support. Okay. Again, that majority of the people from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and backward classes also need protection for their economic and social development. So in our village, especially that from hundreds of years onwards, that these people, the people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, are oppressed in many ways. Okay, so they need protection for their economic and social development. Okay, these are the ways these people, those who are working in the unorganized sector, can be protected. Okay, first thing we have seen that the government must protect the workers in the unorganized sector. Again, vulnerable people such as landless laborers, small and marginal farmers, sharecroppers, etc. must be supported through adequate facilities. Like sufficient facilities must be provided, like timely delivery of the seeds. That means whenever they need the seeds, it must be given in time. Timely delivery of seeds, credit, particularly credit loans must be given to the farmers at minimum, at low rates of interest, and storage facilities. After the cultivation is completed, they would be able to store in the storage. See, cold storage, etc. is there. So storage facility should be there. Okay. Again, we know that in the urban areas, what is meaning urban areas in cities and towns? People those who are working in the small scale industry, street vendors, the people who are selling the things, vegetables, etc., in the fruits, etc., they are known as street vendors, rag pickers. The people those who are doing the loading and unloading, etc., must be supported by the government. Again, we have seen that the social groups, like the people those who are belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes must be protected for their economic and social progress, social development. Okay, these are the things. Okay, one more small topic is there. We'll discuss about what is the difference between public sector and private sector. It is not a new term. Last year also we studied. By the word itself, we can understand what is the public sector. Okay, public sector means the organization which is controlled by, owned and operated by government. Okay, this is known as public sector. In the public sector, the government owns most of the assets and provides all the services. That means government controls the production, and all the industries, everything will be controlled by government. Example, we know the Indian Railway, post offices, RTC, road transport, etc. come under public sector. Again, we know that the people who works in public sector get the benefits such as job security, allowances, retirement benefits, etc. We have already discussed organized. When we discussed about organized sector, we have seen that this public sector comes under organized sector. The people, those who work in public sector, enjoys a lot of facilities, a lot of benefits such as job security. There will be job security will be there, isn't it? They can work till their retirements. Now, nobody would dismiss them or suspend them without any proper reason. There will be allowances would be given. Then a lot of retirement benefits, pension, etc., would be given to the people in public sector. Then private sector, just opposite. What is the private sector? The sector which is owned by private individuals. ownership of assets and delivery of services is in the hands of private individuals. Okay, that we already discussed. Example, we know that Disco, Reliance, etc. the example of private sector. Okay, activities in private sector are guided by the motives to earn profit. We know that private people, why do they start the industries or business, whatever things? What is their aim? What is their motives? Their motives are to earn profits. Okay? So now we understood what is the difference between public sector and private sector. Public sector is controlled by government, owned and controlled by government. Okay, then the people, those who are working in public sector, get a lot of facilities like retirement benefits, pension, all the allowances, salary, high salary, etc. would be paid to the people, those who work in the public sector. Just opposite private sector, it is owned and operated by private individuals. Example, we know that Tata Iron and Steel Company, Tisco, Reliance, etc. are the example of private sector industries. Then activities in private sector are guided by the motives to earn profit. What is the aim of the private sector industries? To earn profits. Okay, children. So that is we'll stop here. The lesson is completed. Okay. Now you have to read the textbook. You don't wait for the last moments. You have to read the textbook and write this. Along with this, I would be giving the question answers also. You have to read it. Don't wait for the last moment. The syllabus already CBSE has given the cut short the syllabus. 30% syllabus is reduced. Okay. Anyway, these lessons are already there. From economics, all the 4 chapters are there. There is no reduction. So we have to study this. Okay. But read the textbook and learn them. Okay. Thank you.